map choice, as we do see sometimes, and that's going to lead us, Des, into map number 3. It's going to be DarkZero versus NAVI on Kafe to decide whose run will continue just a little bit longer here at the 6th Invitational 2022 in Sweden. And the first bans come in. It's going to be Sledge, it's going to be Thatcher.
I like that. The Thatcher pretty much go to expected one here on Kafe. Lots of tight little corners where you've got to disable ADSs, mute jammers. I'm thinking mainly towards things like Pixel if you want to get control of Cigar. Lots of stuff to play behind that. The Sledge, also a really smart pick. It does mean we'll see a ton of Buck, and I do question, will we see the hard breach gadget coming out? Buck, of course, now having 2 of those in back pocket, but you need him really to be assaulting in towards the kitchen. I do wonder if that also means Kafe now becomes a higher priority pick for both teams. Tim, that is arguably the spiciest ban pair we have had on the defender side all competition long. Wamai and Jaeger are gone. Aruni is the only anti-nade operator we've got left.
Bring throwables, push site quickly, is what I'm going to say. Quite often, we don't see that happen.
Tim, don't shout too loud. They'll hear you and steal the idea.
Sorry, of course.
I love it. Round 1, DarkZero, Maverick, Finker, Iana, 6 nades, go.
I don't think they needed me to tell them to bring the nades there, to be honest. Jaeger Wamai, we see that ban occasionally as a pair, and I always think,
I've seen it probably once in my entire career of casting.
I've seen it once or twice. And I think not
You're paying more attention than me.
Not necessarily when we've been casting. I mean, when I'm watching other games as well.
I see.
You know, we watch an awful lot of Siege as well as cast an awful lot of Siege. But when it's like that, I think get yourself to site quickly. You know, get those nades thrown in there whilst there's still bits of things being done. People are moving around for position. Just really hassle site when it's like this.
Oh boy, oh boy. We thought we'd seen a lot of nade kills throughout the competition. Well, you're about to see even more. Let's get going with round number 1. Kitchen going to be where we are setting up. On the side of NAVI, bringing along the Bandit here to deny away those bakery walls. May also see the last 2 committed out towards Freezer. As we mentioned though, Tim, with nades galore here, you will be able to very comfortably roll one in through the Freezer drone hole. You'll be able to get control of the above site and open things up as well. It's going to look pretty peachy. The only real vertical destruction that DarkZero brought along here, mind you, is the 3 breaching charges. We spoke about this a little bit in, was it their game yesterday we spoke about this? I think it was their game, may have been another, where a team were bringing along tons of breaching charges only to end up going to the wrong site entirely and having 0 use for them. They had a bit of a tactical timeout, had a conversation. They reduced that down to just 3 breaching rounds. Didn't bring a Sledge because he died early on and it paid the price. In fact, it was NIP. I've just remembered because Pino got caught out in the early round quite a few times. That was against TSM yesterday.
Doki's going to hold on to court check to begin with, try and prevent any ingress coming through the main door. Just looking. He knows that there's going to be a little bit of attention from that side because they've got secretly in VIP, so normally DarkZero, they're going to want to get hold of restaurant or a bar and try to just pinch secretly out of there, get the kill, and then free up VIP, and they can look to push on towards Freezer.
Tim, they had like 4 drones left at 2 minutes 20. They have NAVI have chewed through DarkZero's drone count here. I'm not sure what's going on because you're relying on that information gain to know where to chuck these nades. So far, they're just starting entirely inside a bakery with the Maverick on side. The beauty is that you can essentially completely ignore those, or you can, of course, get above and yeet some nades down. Either choice works just fine. The easiest one might be to open a drone hole on the bakery wall, chuck a nade through, a nade hole, sorry, like they have done now, get it blown out. Sure enough, they can now look to press their way through. Saves with 2 of the Bandit batteries in back pocket, goes for the wrong wall here. Going to get the left one done back up again, but can't do anything about the other one. It's going to get opened up, and it will give DarkZero their first view into sight.
Saves holding quite an aggressive angle there. It's an interesting push from DarkZero here. Obviously, with the Sledge off the board, there's no option or less option to open up the verticality easily. They've chosen not to bring the book, and instead they're just not working from above. They're allowing NAVI essentially to hold on to those vertical angles. Saves is going to take some damage, as does Hyper, but he juices himself up and the rest of his team with those nano bots on the Finker, and that's just going to bring them pretty much back to full health.
NAVI have read it well. They've only got 1 player on site here, and it is Saves facing up against an onslaught from the west side. If he dies, which he has now done, site is basically open. This is where they might get a read and say, right, we're going to go for it. We're going to step in. We're going to make some plays happen here. Doki does find one back the other side as the other players of NAVI now start to weasel their way back in towards site. secretly here, darting in through Freezer, aware that a plant attempt may come in out towards the west just through that breach. But DarkZero have slowed things down. In fact, they even got up on the rappel here, are looking to move away entirely with only 30 seconds to play with. They've got no drones, Tim. They are playing completely blind.
I'm interested to see. I don't know if Navi have... Yes, they have. I was just going to say Nath is playing up above. That was the point of fascination for me. Doki's trying to hold an angle down. Big jump out from Blur there. Manages to get himself one. Nath on the vertical, as I suggested, takes down Canadian. Long range effort. Miss there from Blur. That could be big as Pambazoo finds the kill. 2v2, 5 seconds. It's all up to Nath above. He's not going to be able to get an angle onto that plant spot. It is not destructible above him, so he's going to have to drop. Eclipse. Oh, he's successful. He's on the other side of the wall. Des. We spoke about it earlier. They baited you in, and they baited Navi in there. DarkZero able to get a plant, able to get around, and able to get themselves a great start on Kafe.
10 seconds ago, we saw him go and plant on Rice. I knew he was there, and I still got excited when the drop came through. I think it was the combo of the drop plus the yellow ping and the outline. I was like, oh, it can happen. But no, absolutely not. Good round from DarkZero. Navi opting to go for that very spread out style. I think they assumed they were going to see a vertical take and just didn't want to play many people on site, lest those nades catch out 2, 3, 4 people all too easily. It's going to be another similar setup coming out from the side of DarkZero. The Maverick, the Finker, and the Iana all in tow as we go towards Reading and Fireplace, and a potential change coming in from Canadian here, who's going to move across to playing on the Twitch instead. That's an interesting one.
It is indeed. As you said,
that magical word that casters always use, interesting.
Interesting. It's interesting, that one.
Beauty about the word is, it can be negative.
Careful, Milosh will be in here.
With a book beating us round the head like, bam! Dictionary to the face.
Fascinating, Des.
It's fascinating. It's interesting. It's intriguing. Think of all these words we can chain together. Interesting can mean both good and bad, though, right? Like, that's what makes a great player. That's interesting. Who's got away with that.
I don't really want to go in on this. But
exactly.
What are you doing? It's
like you avoid the topic by just saying it's interesting. So now you know the little caster rulebook that we have. You hear the word interesting, know that we're just trying to swerve a difficult conversation. Let's see how the setup looks on top floor. It's going to be very similar to what we've seen out of Navi a number of times, where they normally bring shields. To be fair, here they've only got the one for Nath, which without a... I can understand why. Without Wamai, without Jaeger, shields feel essentially pointless. Even a Gon 6 will clear them out, for example, very easily. So without many of those on side, they can't play on Pixel very comfortably. They can play in the bathroom, but it's going to require swinging out towards the players coming in on the piano side. DarkZero should get a read into this and hopefully clear through it pretty quickly.
I would expect so. DarkZero, they're going to have to go for the top floor clearance, whether they have Sledge or not. Last time around, we saw them just leave it alone because they obviously didn't want to bring the book and just didn't feel like the vertical pressure was that necessary, which, as it turned out, it wasn't. They were able to win the round without it. But this time, I don't think they'll have much of a choice because they've got Navi in there with the verticals themselves, just looking to be able to hold on to site later on in the round. Doki, he's going to drop away pretty quickly there. He's going to get himself over the side of the balcony, down and underneath, look to pressure onto Red Hatch potentially, and Nath, he's just got the Yokai drone going ahead of him, secretly doing the work there, trying to put in
Robot Wars
to find out exactly what's going on. We have a little back and forth between our drones there, and the Yokai remains intact for now.
Twitch versus Yokai is the real Robot Wars, let's be honest. A normal drone, inferior, can't do very much in that situation. Sadly, it wasn't Troy or Canadian there with those shock drones. There is now one creeping in, and they've got a second drone also inside a stage, just trying to make sure they can find out any gadgets that might be impeding their entry. We are about halfway into the round, though, and they haven't really got this top floor hold dealt with just yet. They have found Doki, which is a pretty critical one, because him being removed away from playing on side of sight means they can move towards thing a little bit quicker.
Eclipse gets our opener, and that is going to be Doki that gets taken down. It leaves us 5 versus 4. DarkZero can really start to pressure a little bit as they've got boots on the ground on top floor. Blur is up there alone. Saves is looking for a bit of a Hail Mary throw from the Nitro here. Not sure he's going to catch that one. Pamba manages to find Blur as well, and that is an unsuccessful Nitro toss as expected. It's always difficult up through the hatch and out of the window, and the Nomad just managing to avoid. 5 versus 3. Top floor control for DarkZero. Oh no, there's one left in there, just behind the castle barricade, secretly. Not for long. And JR shuts him down.
How do they do it?
Build that synergy, Des.
That was phenomenal. Oh, this hold inside the storage, I spoke about it a couple of times, and I forget which team I spoke about doing it the other day, but they'll also electrify the 2 panels facing out towards the piano side, and no one has bothered to break it open. This hasn't really been broken open and taken control of, but they have killed the player inside of there that was secretly. So, a small evolution and a step forward. It could have been TSM potentially. By the way, it's an absolute rollover for DarkZero. Nothing really to be said by NAVI. Not looking like a good start for them, to be honest with you, Tim. Only a couple of kills to their name so far across 2 rounds.
I'm worried for NAVI at this point. Realistically, DarkZero have come into this looking much the better of the 2 teams. They've continued where they left off from Oregon. They're getting kills. That was a flawless round. There's just nothing NAVI can do, and I don't know if the pressure's just getting to them a little bit. We saw Saves missing that drone inside of reading. I know he was being pushed at the same time. He didn't have long to make the shot, but he just seemed in his movement a little bit frustrated with himself. He then turned to try and face up to the challenge and was just put down pretty easily, really. It wasn't much of a challenge, and it just looks like NAVI are a little bit off the pace here. Doke opening death as well. I don't know, NAVI, they've got to wake up quickly or they're going to lose this one before they know they're in it.
Absolutely. I mean, they've baited successfully here DarkZero into thinking they're attacking into the kitchen. They saw the setup looking basically as it did before, with the Bandit coming on side 4 secretly. I believe it was Saves who played it last time around. Then they've changed it away for a mirror at the last second and headed up to the top floor. Now, Tim, I always like to invite you at this point in time to share with us your rant, as you very rarely do, about this top floor.
2-0 down, NAVI. You've struggled on bar, you've struggled on reading, you've struggled on kitchen. I'm not sure that bar and cocktail is going to be the one for you. I see further struggles coming in.
Why is that then, Tim?
Because it's a difficult site for the defenders to hold on to. It's usually a 50% win rate at best. Sometimes it's lower.
The mirror. Hello? Did they punch that out on accident or something while trying to open the rotate?
I'm not 100% sure.
That is Demo is crying somewhere right now.
If it's been done purpose...
It has not. It has not.
The thing is, there's absolutely no reason to do it purposefully, because it's not even like it makes it quicker to drop it or anything. Like, there's just no reason to...
Man...
I was trying to think of one for him. I'm trying to think, why am I... Nah.
If they shot it out outright and just wanted to use it for that purpose, okay, but you just wouldn't. It's such a powerful mirror to have. We just saw a nade come flying into the bathroom, actually assuming that someone might be there, so maybe NAVI have escaped a quick death by having that accidentally punched out.
Unless... The only thing I can think is that they don't want the line of sight from bathroom door should the attackers take that area to be able to view through, and they'd have to drop the mirror. Maybe that, and then it just gives NAVI the option to drop the mirror.
Do it with me. Both arms above your head. Go real high to the sky, because that's what I call a stretch.
Yes, it's the best I can think of. I'm just really trying for him. It's 5 versus 4. Doki's going to take the opening death once again. Really struggling to get into this. 1 and 3 so far. A couple of those coming on the entry, and NAVI on the back foot. DarkZero have got themselves established inside of red now. They're moving into piano. This is so far so good. Another drone missed from NAVI there. We commented how they were doing so well at taking the drones out. There's now 7 still left alive, and we keep seeing them have these opportunities and they're missing the shots. And I know that it's a small thing to criticise, but it all adds up.
It does. Doesn't do you any favours, for sure. DarkZero looking a bit better here. The cigar side control now established. Blur is still hanging on the downstairs, mind you, so I'm not saying he can be the go-to difference maker. Doesn't have a C4 anymore, of course. It's impacts or bulletproofs coming out for Malusi, but he could hit them on the flank if not properly watched. Saves finds one back the other way, so it's not looking awful for NAVI. However, 4 versus 4 and 60 seconds to play, I'm still having quite a bit of favour towards DarkZero.
The Gemini decoy sent in through the skylight there, taken out immediately. Eclipse on a long angle, gets
Beautiful.
2 with a beauty onto Nath, giving them the advantage now. Secretly fighting from behind his mirror, using that utility, but Eclipse is able to start getting the diffuser down. Out goes a long nade, and it finds its mark. Canadian wraps it up, and DarkZero, they managed to find the 3rd in a row, and NAVI, they cannot buy a defense right now, Des.
With whose subscribers this time, Tim?
I mean,
you'd
have to be Doki, surely. Doki's the
or his subs, yeah, he does stream quite a lot.
He streams quite a lot.
Yeah, even with all Doki subscribers, can't buy a round. Can't buy many kills either, Tim. It's been very limited in the kills department so far for NAVI. And the end of that round for me really showed the problem with these bans, the Wamai and the Jaeger. Steps out for a C4 that surely would have won the round for NAVI because they deny away the plant. There's no one around an immediate vicinity to get the plant down after taking it off the dead man's body. But before the C4 can be pulled, there is a nade raining in. There are no ADSs. There are no magnets. It's beautiful stuff coming out from DarkZero. 3-0 on the attack so far. Still keeping that second part of their name present in this game. Down into kitchen we go again for a repeat of the 3 sites. And truthfully, Tim, I really kind of wish Navi had taken a tactical timeout there. All 3 sites, they have been run absolutely ragged. They've got 5 kills to their name in total across 3 rounds. It's not looking good at all.
Like I said, it's not just about the scoreline here. It's about the way that Navi feel to me when I'm watching them. Like I say, missing drones, not picking up the shot. It just feels like they just feel beaten at the minute. They need themselves around absolutely desperately, and it needs to come now. It's going to be Kitchen. Interestingly, as I suggested on round 1, DarkZero chose not to bring the vertical destruction along. They just went direct to site. I don't think they're going to try that again, given that they've got Canadian on the book this time. So I think the intention will be our normal top-down clearance, get mid-floor, start opening up the ceiling a little bit.
You'd hope so. They've got the book for that exact purpose. Again, Navi did successfully bait them in the last round to thinking they were attacking Kitchen when, in fact, they weren't. Here, they actually are. So Canadian should be, I'm not saying he was useless last round, but more use in this round than he was in the prior. Before they get started with that, they've got to clear Doki off red stairs, though, and there is also Nath charging around red 90 right now that will also need to be removed.
Blur's going to just hide himself away up in Cocktail and try, as we said, to hold on. This is all about wasting time more than anything for Navi here on the very top floor. It's not like you're defending Reading where you're really trying to keep hold of the map as much as you can, and that's why we can see there's only Blur there. He's got the hatch open, he can drop away, he's just looking to see if at some point he gets misdroned, he can pick up a cheap kill. He doesn't, off he goes. He was just chancing his arm there. He was rolling the dice, see what he could get away with. Nath gets a freebie onto NJR. That's what they needed. He's very lucky to get away down White Stairs as well. Hyper was just looking over the balcony there, wasn't able to react quick enough, and that is a bit of a steal for Navi.
Just a little bit, but it's the right play as well. You know, sit in a spot, get droned out, kill the drone, move. It's a go-to tack that everyone should be using, even in your ranked games. Keeping themselves alive and finding an opener, though, is the dream start in this round. DarkZero can now start looking towards this vertical setup. They've still got the book on side, so it's not like they are restricted in terms of vertical options, but they're still just making sure everything is clear before they start getting set up for the execute.
4 versus 5 for DarkZero. Lots of work for them to do, as you say. Clear, execute. That is the next steps of the plan, but there's kills that need to come along with it as well. The air jab's just going out to prevent any flanks. Nitro will detonate and nearly find Eclipse. No, sorry, it wasn't a Nitro. It was his soft breach charge. That's quite fine then. I won't panic anymore. And he's going to just have a look down. There's the Nitro, Des. I knew that there was one in hand, and that's why I'd expected it. It's going to find Canadian. Nath with a big kill there. 5v3, and they needed somebody to step up and have the round that he has had. Kills going either direction. It's going to be another for Nath. That's 3 on the round. The shotgun. Hyper, how do you not get that? He had the side of the man to aim at, and somehow secretly gets the opportunity to turn on him with the shotgun and puts him straight down. It's all up to Pamba, 1v4.
Left alone entirely here on Brown Stairs, put down to about 10 HP as well. Secretly holding with the shotgun, daring him to come on the push, but I guarantee there's going to be a couple of swings coming in here as we get towards the tail end of this round. It's Sage to collect the kill. Navi finally get themselves on the board, Tim, but the question everyone will ask, is it too little, too late?
Still some very serious faces there in the Navi camp, and it's no surprise, that's not a criticism. We're in the 6th Invitational 2022, and they're 3-1 down on the 3rd map. Lose this one, and they will go home. NJR, he's had a good game so far. He just seemed to rush in there. I don't think he maybe had the information ahead of him, and maybe a missed drone there that didn't pick the man up, but it was a freebie for Nath either way. Round number 5, we're looking at loading into, and it's going to be that top floor again that Navi try for. They've decided that Reading was not for them. They've locked down Kitchen. Now they think they can get the top.
Okay, the Flora is being picked in by Canadian as well. A couple of rounds of having a bash with the book. Doesn't quite deliver the goods. So going back to Old Faithful in the Floras with those 4 Roteros on side. Mainly looking, I imagine, in towards getting rid of those shields. Now, there's a world where you'd argue with the Jaeger and the Wamai band away, it should be harder for Flores to be able to operate. Because without Jaeger and Wamai and a lot of setups or operator lineups, you then start missing one of those 2 ops that most teams will bring. You could see a mute slot inside there. You could even put a Mozzie into that spare spot. So I would have imagined it would be harder, but NAVI don't have anything of the sort. Instead, leaning in towards the operators they've got here on the right side. Smoke, Mira, Falk, Lucy, and the Kaid. A couple of C4s in back pocket could do some good work for them, as well as a lot of information. They play with the Valkyrie, they play with the Mira, they play with the Bulletproofs a good few rounds now. So still sticking down on that strategy, but could very quickly be torn apart by those Flores drones.
Absolutely.
Don't punch it. Don't punch it. Good play.
I mean, if they do it again, there's a reason for it.
Trust me, Tim, there was no reason for it.
They're not good.
If there is one, it's not a good one.
If it is one, I'll be asking what it is. That much is for sure, but I think you're absolutely right. I think it was accidental. We're going to have the rotation opened up next to the mirror window, which will allow movement through there and down the balcony if needs be. Pretty standard for NAVI here. Blur, he's going to have... He's deployed. I was going to say he's got a bulletproof camera, but it's been deployed, so that's quite all right. Sometimes we do see those getting forgotten and just get left in pocket, and it makes me wonder sometimes. DarkZero up on the rooftop, moving along quickly, getting the hatches open, looking for the red drop. They're going to have the Rotero drones going in, clear out some utility. See the little hop there just to try and make sure it's safe, and that's going to blow out the counter to begin with.
From the skylight as well, it'd be quite hard to challenge directly onto, because you don't want to expose yourself to that lest someone swings you inside from, well, Cigar. You got Blur, who's holding just inside of the shop, well, not in the shop, he's just below shop actually. I'm a liar. Just daring someone here to get a little bit too confident, step out into red and catch him out with an absolute freebie. Of course, again, not playing an operator with a C4 in back pockets, so can't do too much damage down there, but enough that with an impact above from maybe Doki, for example, he could just go spraying through the floor.
See the shield cleared out in barback storage. I think that was one of Hyper's nades. The Rotero drone was taken out by the man behind the mirror, which is Doki in this case, trying to hold on to Washroom. This is better from NAVI here. They feel a little bit more secure, although that is big, having that taken out, and then secretly goes with it. Another nade kill for NJR. He's been absolutely lethal with the explosives. Eclipse is in. He's getting the diffuser down. Nath is in a position to challenge. Doki is then ultimately who manages to find the kill after he's been moved away. Diffuser down cold, but DarkZero likely to not take too much of an opportunity to get this down again. They move in front of the bar this time. Start to go for it again. 3v3.
NAVI are on the south side here as well. The rush comes through. They try and spray through the smoke, and they do find the man, but Diffuser has been completed. Saves Doki in a post plant here against Canadian and NJR. NJR's on a tear. He's at 8-2, make it 8-3. It's a 1v1. It's Canadian coming up against Saves. Saves does have one more smoke canister. He's going to drop it out, but Canadian, he hasn't got to do much. He can just step inside and go for a spray. Can't quite find the man as he can't see him. Saves going to try once again. I was going to say the Rotero might not be the play here, unfortunately. Comes off again. They're just baiting it back and forth here, Tim. And now that smoke has expired, he can try and stick. Saves playing it quite smart and not getting himself killed, but Canadian has just got too big an advantage here. I don't see a world in which he wins. Finds the shutdown, and DZ finds another round.
It was all a little bit tense there for a second, as Canadian knew that he had to sort of keep challenging to keep the smoke away from the diffuser, but you just could see the potential there for that little headshot to come out and for him to lose the round. But no, Canadian plays it like a pro, nice and experienced, and he makes every right decision there to hold on to things and close out the round. 4-1 now, DZ, and those North American fans, they must be very happy with what they're seeing.
We've seen a couple of 5-1 halves on Kafe Attack over the last week though, Tim. It's what makes me nervous about getting too excited, and I've said it all week long. Don't judge a book by its cover. Wait until you see the second half, because chances are things will turn around on the other side. I know we didn't really see that on Bank. It's kind of one of those anomalies that are going to show up from time to time, where a team does just completely run away with the map due to sheer momentum and how awake they are on the day when it comes to the gun skill. But for NAVI, it's looking rocky. They really need a win here. Otherwise, at 5-1, it's looking dicey.
It could be. As you say, it's going to be a big one for them to turn around in that second half. NAVI 1-4 and right now struggling. They've only won down on Kitchen, losing a lot of gunfights, struggling to get themselves into this one. It was unfortunate for them in the last round. They were able to have Nath disrupt the plant from underneath. It was nice team play then for Doki to finish the kill. They fought the way back into it, but ultimately DarkZero again just one step ahead and were able to close it out.
Here's that hole once again coming inside of storage that I keep on talking about, by the way. I mentioned it in that TSM versus NIP game. TSM were one of the first ones I saw do it. here. It's looking like a very similar one once more. The only difference being currently they haven't reinforced off the 2 walls into storage from bathroom, which they're now going to do. So yeah, things are looking as they did before. The player inside of there is very well protected, by the way. They've got a mute jammer on the west-facing wall. They've got the castle barricade too. There's only really 2 ways in and out of there. The one is through the bar door. The other is out through the rotate to the right-hand side. The one that makes me a little bit nervous is the rotate is on the near side. So from the skylight, you will see the player trying to rotate through. A very easy catch of Canadians up on that roof once again. So when we see someone playing inside of there, they've got to be very, very careful. And I think it is Doki on the castle inside of here, I want to say.
It's a tough choice, because if you do it the other way around, obviously you leave the line of sight from the window, which is castle barricaded, but still, that's easily cleared off, and then you've got a line, you just can't play inside of there because you're just going to have somebody peeking you constantly. So it's a tough choice, but NAVI deciding to go for it that way around. They'll play the man out of freezer for the time being. Nath is getting aggressive here on Pixel Spot, really. You don't always see so much of a high line, but I like it. Try and take it to them. Don't let DarkZero get themselves established in the building. Nath's going to drop back now, leaving Blur on Cocktail not quite all alone, because there's still the man, I think, inside a freezer. But
no, he's just dropped. He's just legged it literally just 3 seconds ago.
Blur deciding it's time to try and make something happen. Then he's not going to shoot out the drone. They don't expect it, but they do react to it. Hyper manages to find Blur, and DarkZero 1 step towards a 5-1 half.
Yeah, I think once that armor panel came off and secretly kind of realized he was under pressure there, he moved to Yokai downstairs. You know, Yokai drones for 4 people apparently. Got that on the downstairs and then hightailed it out himself across the Cocktail and down through the hatch. Knew the pressure was starting to build, and it was a key focus point of DarkZero. Good so far from NAVI though. They are burning through a lot of the clock tin. We're down towards that last 60 seconds at this point, and now they've got the vertical control. Great. Now you've got to decide what to do with it. When are they going to pull the trigger? Because Nath is still trying to waste time with the smoke canisters going at white. As Hyper comes in for a bit of a swing, wants to find the man and shut him out, but Nath, he's holding so tight with the shotgun, Tim.
He is, and he's going to continue to hold. There's no way he aggresses onto this. Saves, manages to find one with a nitro onto NJR, and that is a big, big kill there. Leveling things up at 4-4, and with 35 seconds left to go, Nath, he's just going to keep himself locked in this position to prevent any push coming down white. DarkZero, they're going to really have to use this verticality to the best of their ability. And it looks like Eclipse, he's going to drop down there and look to stack up on reading door for the plant, but he's going to need some cover because there's still 4 defenders left alive. That's exactly what Hyper's trying to do. In he goes. I'm not sure there's anybody above in a position just yet to cover, but Pamba, Hyper, they find 2 and leave us now in a 2 versus 4. Hyper moves in for the aggressive cover, stood on top of the planter there, and it goes down successfully. It's all up to saves. There's 1v4. We've seen him do 1v3 before, but I just don't have a good feeling about this one. He's in the centre of sight. He's 1 above. They're in every direction. It takes the first, hoping to lift the hammer. It is the pinnacle of any Siege player's career, but there's only one that will be successful. We've already lost last year's champion, Des. If SSG go as well, then we will have a brand new organisation win this one.
Little update on what's going on in the B stream. Rogar up 4-3 on the last map. It is height. Sounds like a real screamer over there, a barn burner as we call it, Tim. Here, although it is map 3, it feels far from a barn burner. Interesting pick coming out from Bamba, by the way. Can't think of the last time I saw a Doc, to be honest. We saw Rook a couple of times last week. Teams obviously favouring that plus 20 HP that Rook now gives, rather than trying to deal with the mental mathematics you've got to do to try and deal with, okay, well, he takes 89% damage reduction, whatever it might turn out to be, or 89% of the full damage. 89% damage reduction would be absolutely mental. The Doc here at least going to be able to juice some people up across the team. So we'll see exactly what the use case is intended for that. I think back to the olden days of like Consulate, where you'd have, for example, a clash on yellow stairs. You'd have a Doc sat inside a bathroom just juicing the clash up as nades started to rain down. I'm wondering here if it's more of a selfish pick or if the intent is to help keep someone alive from nades.
I quite like a roaming Doc. It's not something we've seen for a long time, but just get Doc out in the map. He's really self-sufficient. If he takes
he's really noisy and slow.
He's noisy and slow, but if you can play it right and you get into gunfights, you win a gunfight, you're at 50 health, you juice yourself back up, you just start again, you just reset and off you go again and try and find another gunfight. And we've certainly seen it used a good while ago now. It's not something we see very often. Like you say, he's inside. The thing is, it's not a bad spot for him here either. Inside a washroom. If he takes chip damage from grenades, if there's utility raining in towards him, he can keep himself in that position for as long as possible.
I feel with Thunderbird in the game these days, Doc is largely irrelevant, unfortunately. Maybe a buff at some point, an extra stim, although it sounds crazy. given one that maybe juices up teammates more than yourself. Loads of ideas you can give towards that, I'm sure. But there is a reason why Thunderbird, it does have a higher pick rate at this point than the Doc does, because obviously
it's automatic as well.
It's automatic, it impacts more spots, it's got infinite number of charges, there's just so much more that Thunderbird has going, plus also has a C4. Doc has got barbed wire. Not just, again, loads working in Thunderbird's favour.
We'll see whether Pambazoo can put the Doc to DarkZero's favour in this round or not. Doki took a fraction of damage there as he took a bullet from way across in Cocktail. But NAVI not going badly. Halfway mark, they've got themselves established inside of Piano. And there's a potential here for Saves to burst in through the Cocktail window. He's got the Gon 6 in hand. He's sort of ready to go to take Hyper's attention here as Hyper continues to pepper shots in towards Cigar and Piano to make life difficult. Look at him swinging wide there to try and get the angle to prevent those Hibana pellets coming on, but I don't think he's going to do that again now that it's been opened up. But the jump out is there. NJR gets one, immediately traded by Nath, but Hyper finds Doki on one of those long angles as well. It's 4 versus 3 for DarkZero now.
With the cover inside of storage, so they can remove those X-Kairos so easily. Think back to the play yesterday we saw from Lender when they were trying to combo together, getting that wall opened up. At the exact same time they turn around to spray those X-Kairos off the wall, they swing in Piano and get the kill. It was really smart play from Lender and very aggressive coming out of Furia, reminding you the winner of this game has to face up against them later on. It's not going to be the easiest game in the world, but surely right now DarkZero are looking to be the team that make it. It's down to a 3 versus 3 as Nath finds his double in the round, really starting to switch on here on this map. 7 and 5 overall, it's looking good, but they need to really dig deep here, Tim, and find more.
Clips is just waiting for his opportunity from underneath here to let that Nitro go, and he's going to be a nuisance when he does. Hyper just trying to make his challenge without moving too far. Pamba finds Blur, 3v2, Nitro goes out, perfectly played from Eclipse, and then Hyper mops it up. 1 kill each, and DarkZero find themselves on map point, on match point, and on the verge of being the team to continue into the next round of the lower bracket.
Still very muted, mind you. It's interesting when I think about it because, you know, Canadian we know is a very noisy player anyway. We know that he likes to be all gassed up, and we saw, for example, Sonics yesterday. They were super gassed during their game. Both teams in this game, it's really weird, a bit muted compared to what we hear going on between Elevate and Rogue. NAVI, understandably, DarkZero you thought might be more excited. At 6-1, maybe they're not so happy with how their performance went back on Bank and know there is a lot of work to be done. They've been serious from start to finish, but as long as you get the job done, it doesn't matter so much what that energy is like as long as the numbers roll in.
Exactly that, you know, it's like you say, whether you get it done with screaming, laughing, crying, you know, whatever it might be.
Can you just imagine?
I'm yet to see a team win whilst crying, but, you know, however, like you say, however you manage that energy and those emotions within the team, it's whatever works on the day. And if right now DarkZero feel like they need to be focused, then
could you imagine Hyper just being like, I didn't get a 4K, it was only 3. Kill. It's not enough of my stats. Imagine.
Round number 8 we go into. DarkZero absolutely running away with this one, and a lot of North American fans going to be very, very happy to see them on top here after a good performance against TSM. They may be starting to send a little bit of a message. This is the point, Des, where you start thinking, can they do this? Can they make a run at this? I think there's still questions to be asked of DarkZero, and they've got a tough opponent coming up in the next round, but they are looking better as time goes on. This
is that meme where, you know, the 2 kids in the pool and the mom's like playing with the little one and the little kid's off to the side drowning. Yeah. The kid being raised is the Sonics. DarkZero are the one drowning down towards the south because realistically, no one really harbours much hope for DarkZero. It sounds sad to say, but I think it's true. Based on some of their performances during group stage, they were very on and off, and they even won one of those series on the first couple of days. But everyone was like, are they okay? Like, what's up with their play? They look really shaky, whereas Sonics have really ramped into the competition. DarkZero, I think, have still got a point to prove, and a point they've now got to prove in the losers bracket. Obviously, they're still working their way through this lower bracket. NAVI are just one speed bump on that journey towards a potential top 8 finish. I mean, top 8 is still fantastic. Top 4 would be a dream for this team.
Yeah, I think at that point, you know, everything beyond is a bonus, isn't it? It's,
yeah.
You know, if you do get more, if you get that final, if you get anything else out of it, then you've overachieved at that point. But DarkZero quietly going about their business, and sometimes those are the teams to watch. Like you say, you know, everybody focusing over here, but it might be DarkZero that you should be looking at. Out goes the Nitro unsuccessfully. Doki just managing to turn away. Takes a lick of damage, but not too much.
Loses an arm.
Loses an arm. not a myth, just a flesh wound, just a scratch, Des.
It's just a flesh wound. Oh, cheeky! Getting the down onto Doki on the other side. Blur does find Pamba first at the very least, keeping his teammate alive, at least for now. Down, but not out. Eclipse, one back the other way. Technically a 4 versus 3 here, at least temporarily. Eclipse could be in big with potential on the downstairs, looking to do a bit of damage with that C4, but no one is near the wall. They've stepped away. Doki back on his feet. Both of those frag grenades retained. As Navi start looking towards how they press forwards here. They've got bar. They can start working in towards White Team, but the problem is, this ain't the site. Let's remember, we're downstairs in Reading and Fireplace. It's all good getting top floor control, but they're not looking in great shape doing it.
That's it. There's a lot of time and effort been burnt here with only 50 seconds left to go. They need to start finding some kills. It's going to be difficult to get a plant down as it stands because DarkZero are pretty comfortable inside a site. There's still a bulletproof camera up, I think, possibly. It's feeding information back in as well. And
I don't care.
That's something that Navi need to be thinking about because it's
time.
They've got Pambazoo dead. He can just sit on those cams if they feel like they need that information from top floor. There we go, finally. But as he goes to do it, Eclipse, he's going to take the Nitro, nicely baited in. Doki from beyond the grave after being picked up finds a Hyper with a nade, and it is now 3 versus 2. It's looking like DarkZero, Des, but Navi, they're clinging on. It's 2v2, 2v1 as Saves goes on one of his marches again and gets a big 3k to keep Navi fighting.
Man, Saves does it again. 3rd time this series, I think, where he's pulled out a 1v3. He's won out in a 2 versus 2 with his other teammate planting and keeps Navi going with a big 3k to close things out. It does kind of feel like you're delaying the inevitable. They've still got 4 rounds in a row to win to go to overtime, let alone even think about winning the match. And I've said it before, I'll say it again. You can't keep on relying on big hero plays, but in that moment, that's exactly what they needed because otherwise that round was fast falling away from them. Fireplace and mining is where we're going to head into next.
Can DarkZero bring anything different? That is the question. It's going to be very similar to how they defended the last site. It's going to be about trying to keep Navi out of piano, trying to keep hold of top floor for a while, not lose too much doing it. And Navi had a good attack across there this time around. There was a moment there where you thought it was heading in DarkZero's direction, particularly after that Nitro from Eclipse. You just think, if you're going to get that sort of play going on whereby you've got the Nitro underneath a bulletproof ready to go when somebody comes up to it, you know, at that point you probably deserve the round. But Navi, they weren't interested in deserved, they weren't interested in fair. Saves just went in, slayed everybody and claimed it for their own. So we don't see this site too often, Des. It's not a common one for us. It's usually the off site, if you will. We see it every now and again, but like I said, we're going to have Navi trying to get top floor control, trying to work down from piano and soften things up from there.
Absolutely. This site has the highest defender win rate of any of the 4 sites here on Kafe. In case you were curious, up until maybe yesterday, top floor and Reading and Fireplace were both dead equal at 51%. Downstairs and kitchen was about 45%, and I think Mining and Fireplace was just pushing into the 60s at about 62% or so. So if you're going by numbers, if you like your stats, there's your number for this round. Highest defender win rate site, DarkZero on defense with a big advantage in the game. All odds point towards Navi not being able to keep this one going, but if they can break this site, Tim, suddenly you start to get a bit excited. It's 6-3, 3 more sites to rotate through, and overtime could be on the way.
Oh, you start believing at that point, don't you? It starts creeping in. You think, you know, this is possible. But the thing is, Des, it's not just our minds that it creeps into. It's the minds of DarkZero as well. As you say, the energy a little bit lower than we might have expected from some previous performances. They're very focused here, and they're very serious about getting the job done. And as soon as Navi feel like they're coming back into this, that may well have an impact. If they're so hyper-focused, they will feel it twice as hard. Canadian underneath with the Nitro. He knows there's going to be attention paid towards piano. In from red stairs, which is exactly where Navi are working at the minute, but he hasn't chosen to let go of that explosive just yet. He's just biding his time, waiting for his moment, but it's going to be Pamba. Pamba goes down as Blur finds his moment. That's a headshot to open things up, but NJR, they're on the trade, 4 versus 4.
Okay, a little bit dicey to start things off with losing the man. Blur, the one falling down, hardly the biggest fragger in this game, but still a key man to lose nonetheless. You do lose all 3 of those breaching charges, and coming into this vertical where you don't have a sledge on side, it can be a bit of a stinger. They've got Nath on the book, but now he is their sole focus. He needs to stay alive to give them these vertical angles, to force these defenders away. They've got the control they're looking for. There are no C4s left on the side of DarkZero, so things are looking up for NAVI as we get towards that last 60 seconds.
Eclipse just searching for those reverse vertical angles. He knows that NAVI have got control. He knows that they're all up there somewhere. Nath playing on top of the bar to try and avoid any further explosives that might come out. There are none left, so he doesn't necessarily need to worry about it, but just being cautious, doesn't want to be giving anything away. Doki starts to get aggressive on white stairs here, looking directly in towards site. He'll take down the Banshee. 35 seconds, here come NAVI. Saves it is again to come in the late round and have an impact, finding the opener there onto NJR, and that now leaves us 4 versus 3. Eclipse holding from inside of the train though. He's just waiting. He's got 2 walls that he can see through. In comes there it is, the shot we all wanted to see. Eclipse one tap onto Doki, gets another onto Secretly, Diffuser down cold, and here come DarkZero looking to propel themselves. 9 seconds left to go. Surely Saves can't do it again. It's effectively a 1 versus 2. DarkZero are just running away at this point. They know that there's nothing more that they need to do, and that is the round for DarkZero. That is the North American side continuing, and they go quietly about their business here at the 6th Invitational and proceed in the lower bracket.
Very muted response overall, but a strong win. 7-2 coming in on Kafe. We saw a full swing of